Oh, Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming to see us, Robinhood. For the people that don't know us, I'm Johann. I lead the crypto business at Robinhood. We are primarily a US company. We have about 25 million customers in the US, and we just had a bunch of very exciting announcements this week. So, in case you missed it, we wanted to come here and kind of present it to you guys, and also ask well, answer any question that you may have at some point. So, yeah, on Monday we hosted our first crypto event for Robinhood. It was also our first international event right here in Cannes, 10 minutes from here. And it was very special for me, especially because I actually grew up here. So the last time I was in this room, I was at the movie festival 15 years ago. So it's pretty funny to be on the other side. And yeah, the big news for us is that we unlaunched Robinhood Crypto across the entire EU and EEA. So if you're from the EU or if you're French, you can actually download the app right now. And it's not going to be just crypto. It's also going to be stock tokens that I'm going to talk about. And so we are really excited to be here and to be able to do this announcement in France and part of the ECC. On Monday, we also had a great discussion with Vitalik, which I think is coming after. I'm sure that's why you're also here. And so we are really, really excited to be able to really get into crypto a lot more and start being a player here in Europe. So for tokenization, we introduced a new Robinhood. So initially, when we were in Europe, it was just about crypto, and now we're actually doing a lot more. So European will be able to trade crypto, stake assets. That's pretty basic. I'm sure everyone can do that. But they will also be able to access crypto perpetual future that I will show you a bit after and invest on chain and get exposure to the top US companies and ETF 24/5. So that's really the most exciting thing that we've done. It's commission free, there is no fees. The only thing that we charge is a 10 basis point conversion rate when you go from euro to dollar. So we're already excited. And you will get top exposure to the big names, Nvidia, Apple, Amazon. And in the future, we'll start adding more and more assets from 200 that we have right now to 2,000. And on top of that, these tokens are actually available on chain. So every time you buy a stock, we are going to mint a token. It's going to be on the Arbitrum chain at the beginning. And in the future, we are going to launch Robinhood Chain, which will also be based on Arbitrum, but it will be really dedicated to the type of product that we are trying to create, the type of financial services that we have. We've been working with regulators quite a bit to make this product available, and we wanted to make sure that the entire community could actually build on top of it instead of trying to cramp everything that we need to do on one smart contract. So it's going to be really exciting for us to be able to do that. Self-custody of the asset is going to be available pretty soon as well. When we were doing the presentation on Monday, we actually did a large transfer of assets to show how it would work, and it's basically the same thing as if you were trading on any kind of self-custody wallet like MetaMask or Coinbase wallet. And the idea is really that in the future, you don't need to have any reliance on any brokerage or any companies, basically. You can have everything on DeFi, you can transfer the assets and do a lot more things. So really excited about this. And then the next product that we did is perpetual futures for crypto. So we are launching on Bitcoin and ETH first. And really one of the main problems that we saw on perpetual is it's really complicated to use. If you use a platform like Binance, Hyperliquid, like these kind of things, you really feel like you constantly have to update your take profit, your stop loss. You always have to change the numbers constantly. And so, when we were talking to our customers, like we had this feeling that they really hated what they were doing. They had to basically be stuck at their desktop if they wanted to trade futures. Like it was difficult to do it on the go. And so we built this feature, this new UX and UI that we really think is probably the best one on the market at this point. And so, you will have this slider on the left at the top that you can move left to right and be able to see your margin very quickly. You will see how much of liquidity you can use at the same time. On the leverage side, you will be able to go from 1x to 3x. You can, of course, cross the margin between your position, and you can isolate it to one position. And the really cool thing that I invite you to test is to look at the ladder that we have to set your take profit and stop loss. You will be able to see the price of the, let's say, Ethereum in real time. It will move in front of you, and you'll be able to, with a slider to set your stop loss and take profit. So that's also something that we think is really unique and will give us a lot of new ways to build on perpetual futures. And then staking, obviously, that's something that I'm sure everyone here is aware. So it's finally live in the US. We actually had that in the EU for a very long time. And we offer a match as well. So if you're an EU customer, definitely try to test it. In the US, it's going to be the first time that we are rolling it out to eligible customers. It was one of the main requests from our customers. So we're excited to finally make it happen. I think, for staking, what we hear from customers is that, of course, they want the rewards. Obviously, it never hurts, but they also want to be able to help contribute to the network, help secure the network, and so we were excited to give that. And when Vitalik and AJ and I were on stage on Monday, we were discussing about the virtue of staking and the fact that we want a lot of people to stake their assets, but we also want a lot of people to actually use the network. So it's something that we love to be able to give the option to our customers. So yeah, so that's kind of everything that we announced the other day. And yeah, wanted to see if there was any question in the audience. Yes. I don't know if you want to mic. So the question was, do you see Hyperliquid as your competition? I don't think it's the direct competition. You can do a 100x on Hyperliquid. You can do a lot of things. But what we want to be able to do is give every type of customer that is eligible and understand how perps works and all these things. We want to give them an interface that is a bit different on a fully regulated platform. We have licenses here in the EU. And also being able to give them something that is very easy to use. So I invite you to try it. You will see it's pretty unique. We spent a lot of time with our designer to get that feedback loop with customers and make sure that we could update at all times the system. So it's going to be a fun one. Any other?
I have a question. I'm back here, sorry. Sandy Carter from Unstoppable. And I was just reading last week about Republic tokenizing stocks for OpenAI and SpaceX. I'm just curious, are you guys doing the same technique or are they different? Thank you.
They are not quite the same. If I remember correctly, Republic is doing a reserve function. So at this point, it's kind of a wait list. On our side, what we are doing with stock token is that we are giving exposure to the different companies that I've showed earlier. And for the specific tokens that you mentioned, at this point we are just offering it to hold, and we don't offer buy and sell. But for all the public stock at this point, you can buy, sell, and use it as much as you want.
Question. Hi, I have a question here. Well, first of all, thanks for the presentation. Do you have a more precise timeline on the self-custody for stocks? And do you plan to make it fully transferable? If yes, will that be available globally? And how do you plan to overcome some regulatory restrictions?
Yeah, so when we were doing the presentation on Monday, I could have actually brought it here, but we did the full transfer on the app. At this point, what we're going to roll out is the self-custody aspect, and then we do plan to offer transfer in the future. For us, the main regulation issue is going to be on the mint burn versus the actual transfer. So still some work to do, but we think that's where the industry wants to go. I think if we want to really bring adoption and competition compared to the current system. I think what's really exciting also about Stock Token is really going to open the 24/7 aspect. So we have an exchange called Bitstamp that we acquired, and we finished the acquisition a few weeks ago. And you can imagine a world where Bitstamp can support these stock tokens, and we can have 24/7. And in the future, this exchange could actually be on DeFi, on any kind of platform that offer decentralized exchange. So that's really the plan.
Hi, hello. Here, I have a question. Yeah.
Oh,
I
sorry.
have a couple of questions. Like the first one is, are you using an external platform to tokenize the stocks, or you built like an internal one? And the second one is, who is providing the liquidity for the stocks? I mean, you closed like some partnership with market makers, or you are providing the liquidity by yourself?
Yeah, so the tokenization engine was really built by ourselves. We built it from scratch. We have a great engineering team. I think I've seen at least one engineer in the room. So, you know, I think on this product, to be honest, the complexity is not so much on the coding. Like anyone can tokenize anything at this point. It was more getting the right regulatory agreement and the right setup to get enough liquidity and volume. So. Yeah, tokenization engine is in-house. And then for the second question, when we source the stock, when you buy a stock, we source it on the market. It can be market makers, NASDAQ, NYSE, you know, exchanges. And we buy it, and at the same time, we put it in custody. And when we receive that stock in custody, we mint a token at the same time.
Yes, sorry. I'm Vlad from iPor Labs here. I just wanted to ask, stock tokens, do you envisage those as part of the, you know, the self-custody part and management? Do you envision those being used as collateral in DeFi protocols, and do you plan to be involved in that process?
Yeah, I mean, I think for us, what we think about stock token is that it opens a bit of a new world, and ideally, we want to create a system that everyone can use, not just Robinhood. Like, we don't want this to be a closed loop system. So, you know, we expect that people will go in self-custody. We expect that they will do a lot of things with it. I don't know if right now we're going to work on that collateral aspect, but you know, if it exists, why not? And I think that's really the beauty of tokenizing this asset, is that you could imagine a lot more use cases that currently we cannot do with the current system.
So, oh, sorry. I just want to ask, so once you have that self-custody available, will that mean that users will be able to transfer it to basically anyone they want to? I know that you already mentioned that you're working on like making it more beyond just like a user holds it in their wallet, but will that mean that users will eventually be able to access it without some kind of whitelist, which would, you know, let them do basically any kind of like DeFi options, or would it be a much more confined environment where it would be, okay, only certain users or certain platforms would be able to access stock tokens and do various things with them?
The ambition that we have is really to be able to offer like this world where you can actually do what you want with the asset. I think, you know, what we've seen in the past currently is that if you use a traditional system, it's really difficult. If you want to transfer broker to broker, it takes days, sometimes months in Europe. I've just done it in France, and it took me a month and a half to receive the asset on the other side. And during this period of time, the asset actually changed in valuation. So our ambition is to offer like the real, you know, unlimited kind of transfer at some point.
And what about the secondary market when the off-chain market is closed?
Yeah, so currently it's 24/5, so meaning that you can do it 24/7. Well, no, sorry. At any time of the day during the week, and it stops at the end of Friday and start early at the very end of Sunday as well. The goal for us is to be able to open the secondary market, like I mentioned, with some of our exchanges, some of the market makers that will come into it, and they will be able to actually create liquidity and volume on this.
But even today, it's not open 24/5, the off-chain market.
Well, so we have a system that are connected to market makers that are doing like kind of this pricing after hours. So when the NYSE or Nasdaq close, it actually goes to this market maker instead, and we're able to do pricing.
Yes, my question is, thank you so much. It's amazing presentation, and you're available in all countries, European Union. What about Switzerland? When you are going to be on this market?
In which market?
About Switzerland, you are not available in Switzerland, and yes, and there are a lot of people who would love to use this application for sure.
That's great feedback. We are working on the Switzerland aspect. So we got our licenses in the EU and EEA, and you know, as you know, Switzerland has different regulations. So our plan is to get there at some point, but not right now. Good. Well, thank you very, very much. I hope you enjoy the sun. Don't melt too much, and see you soon.